Can't get enough time traveler stories? There's no need to fear. Soul Spy University is here, and we have one for you today that's made headlines. Welcome to Soul Spy University, where your souls can run free and your minds are free to expand. Today, we'll be covering the incredible story of Andrew Carlssin, who turned $800 into 350 million in 2 weeks and confessed to the government that he was a time traveler. But first, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep existing to put out this content for you. And I have to remind you, there is a donation link in the description box for anybody that gets anything out of any of this, happens to actually listen and watch, and wants to support the channel further. Any little bit means the world to my heart. There is a link in the description box. Tommy, okay, Andrew Carlssin, have you heard about this one? This made headlines, by the way. Let me just dive right in because the story keeps unfolding. All right, I think it was January 28th of 2003, and this guy, like everybody was kind of losing money in the stock market. Within 2 weeks, he turned $800 into $350 million. Yeah, and he never, not one of his stocks lost at all. This happened in Ontario, Canada. And I think due to the fact that there was no loss at all, and he turned $800 into $350 million in 2 weeks, the FBI got involved, right? And yeah. And he got arrested because he was suspected of insider trading. So after 4 hours of interrogation, he apparently admitted and confessed that he was a time traveler from the year 2256, which at that time was 250 years in the future. And he apparently tried, like, there's some background noise. He apparently tried to make it look natural, like by, like, oh, I'm just going to make a little here and there. But apparently, reportedly, he got carried away with the environment. Okay. Yeah, this is nuts. If you want to weigh in, and guys, there's so much more to this I'm about to tell you.
Yeah, a couple things.
Yeah.
One, why did the FBI get involved if he was in Canada? Wouldn't the Canadian police get involved?
I guess they're everywhere,
And I mean, it's like
the SEC got involved too.
How do you not realize you're getting over, like you're getting too into it when it's you turn $800 into that in what'd you say, a couple weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's insanity. After like $1 million, I'll be like, I'm gonna sit back for like a day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like let's like put it on chill for like an hour, man.
But that money probably means nothing in his time. So he's like, oh, once I get to $1 billion, then I can start.
I guess so. Yeah, supposedly according to his time, they just know so much about all this stuff that it was so easy. Okay. And there's so much more that happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, they believe him immediately, and I'm like, okay, you're free to go.
No, he got put in jail. Basically, so basically all he wanted, he offered to tell them the cure for AIDS, where Osama bin Laden was, and he gave the exact date of when America was going to invade Iraq. And all of this was true. And he offered even more. Anyway, they were like, he's just like, listen, all I want is to be free to like go back to my time machine. I think he was saying to go back to his time. Like when I read the reports, it says like until his current date. So I think they meant to say like for him to go back to his current date. But yeah, and they were like, whatever, buddy. It's like $1 million bail, right? And somebody bailed him out.
Oh, it's probably the guys sent back in time to like get rid of him, like that other guy that we watched.
Oh, he also predicted the market crash in 08.
Oh, all right. So this guy probably was bailed out by a government official and then immediately uh, moved to a secret location where now all his secrets come out. Because I mean, they got Bin Laden. They probably with him they knew where he was the whole time. But you know, a president that was failing in his thing has got to be like, we got Bin Laden. See everybody, I'm not such a bad guy.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, so basically he got bailed out. He was supposed to meet his lawyer like April 2nd of that year. Never went, like never went to the subpoena or whatever. And then the SEC reports no records of him at all were found prior of December 2002, because he surfaced January 28th, 2003, started doing all this, and nothing exists of him. So it's as if he like never existed prior to that date.
Jeez. Yeah, I really don't think that he was able to go back in his time. I really think that they just wiped him up and they're collecting as much information as from him as possible.
That's a good point, because he claims he doesn't know who bailed him out. It was some stranger out of kindness, okay,
Yeah.
who just like has $1 million, right? Um, okay, so more happens. Carlson admitted on 3/29/03, yeah, he was released by FBI, but no, that's not right. But like basically he was released by FBI because a stranger was kind enough to give $1 million, whatever. Let me see. Yeah, he was arrested at 44. He said he wasn't aging until then. That's like, how did you become 44? But okay. Um, you're born 44? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a rough birth.
Oh my God. Okay, this is weird. Um, on April 29, 2003, there's oh my God, I don't know how I didn't write this down. Basically, Weekly World News wrote that it successfully interviewed him by phone, and he was in Toronto for the creation of a company that would go public in 2007.
Okay.
And when they interviewed him, let me see if I have the cryptic thing he said. It was something. Oh, here it is. He said, "Time is everything, and everything happens according to time. I am now here, so now this is my time." But then he's not around, so I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what he's saying. Like, well, this is my time now, because it's like it's obviously not you're gone. Although now I'm starting to really believe your story, just like they did to all these other geniuses.
Yeah.
Okay, so supposedly all media stopped covering this. When the FBI questions it, they were like, "Oh, that was just a joke." Meanwhile, there's actual court cases filed for him. Okay. And if it was really a joke, then all media would have been like, "So tonight on blah, 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 reportedly was a joke the whole time." Did you catch that, Tucker? Did you catch that joke? That's a funny, timely joke, and make some joke about time travel. You know what I mean? Like none of that happened. It's
Well,
just
none of
not,
that,
huh?
yeah, none of that will ever happen. The media is on a short leash. So they're not gonna be like, ha ha ha, it was just a joke. They're like, moving on.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Okay. There's also another picture of a time traveler that like existed prior to this, that everybody would circle the person like, "Look, a time traveler in this photo. Look," and he's like, "That's me. That's me." And it does look like him, which is weird.
Oh, is that the one with the guy that's wearing sunglasses?
No, no, it really does look like him. And basically, yeah, all he wanted to do was go back to his time machine, and he would flatly deny telling them the exact location for the time machine, saying out of fear that it was going to be in the wrong hands, and he wouldn't explain to them how it worked out of fear it would be in the wrong hands. Um, but let me see what else they got. Yeah, so okay. Okay, so yeah, I got some questions. So first of all, you need your social to invest in stocks, and none of that. You can't find any of that on
Do
him.
you
It's like as if he never existed.
recall using my social security number for stocks?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that goes through my bank, so I guess they already have it. Maybe. Unless he just stole a social security number. That happens. People do it all the time.
I want to know if he disappeared, where's all that 350 million?
Oh, he probably put it into like a secure account that like collects, and then he just goes back in his time. He's like, I'm a trillionaire. Wow.
I
Or
like
like,
your theory. I like your theory because do you remember in previous podcasts, and guys, leave in the comments what you think is going on. But guys, also pay attention. In previous podcasts, we covered that genius from another country, that child genius that said he was like from Mars, right? What was his name? It was like Boric or something. Boris.
oh yeah, Boris.
Yeah. And then he just disappeared. Like he's like nowhere to be found.
Yep, that's how things go.
Also, Max Laughlin, childhood genius, who claimed CERN is responsible for alternate realities and the Mandela effect. Guys, check out our videos on that. Also gone.
Is he though, or is he just irrelevant? I thought he was just irrelevant because he's not
Nah,
a
how
time
can
traveler
he
or anything.
be? How can he be? You know, people be hunting him down left and right.
Yeah, but he's an adult now, and like, there's plenty of adult
So,
genius.
if he was smart then, I think it's exactly what you're saying. I think these people are like in a building somewhere. Hopefully they're getting some sort of natural light and they are working for higher ups.
I hope they are working for him, and it's not just they have like this weird helmet on, and they're like strapped to a table, and like if they don't ever if you refuse, they get like needles poked in their sides, and they're like, ah,
Oh my God.
what's gonna happen here?
I hope not as well.
Yeah, that would be rough, man. Like, I don't understand why people think that they just like, oh, they ran into the woods and they're safe. It's like, no, they were immediately swiped up. The government's probably like, we don't believe you. Grab him. So that's how that goes. So yeah, they're probably in a facility somewhere. He probably had the notion of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody about the time machine." Blah, 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 blah. But then when some guy is hovering over him with like clippers and holding his fingers, he's like, "This is what it does. This is where it goes. Please don't hurt me."
uh Also, like if he really did do that interview late April in Toronto, um how was he not in trouble? Like, how was it not like you were supposed to be at the subpoena, like, and he wasn't found? Like, everybody just let him go? Like, I don't think so. He's at
Well,
something that's not going to premiere for another however many years. I think he's like working with people.
yeah, but where is the subpoena though? Is the subpoena in the United States? Is it in Canada? So,
Canada.
oh, it's in Canada.
I think so because all of this happened out of Ontario, and then he was found in Toronto.
That's what's messing me up. I'm like, if the FBI got involved, it's like, what the hell are they doing in Canada? It's a different this country.
Honestly, that's been asked in many cases, like the case of the giant finder, right? And it's been said that FBI works both.
No, we just go over there and it's like, hey, Canada, nice country. Do what we want.
I don't know.
Oh, that's sad. Anyway, yeah, I mean, maybe the guy's free, or maybe he was just free to like, and he was free up until the point where he did this interview, and they're like, oh, hey, uh, time to tell us how to use your time machine, or we're gonna remove your nipples. He's like, okay, no problem. Also, this is where Bin Laden is if you want to kill him. It's like, we'll hold off on that. We'll hold off. Cure for AIDS? It's okay. We have plans.
So yeah, and the other thing to think about is so supposedly they're like 10 years right now that like it's okay. Supposedly there's a professor in Connecticut of physics who has been studying like Einstein's theories and all that stuff, made a
Mhm.
time machine. And now here's what's confusing. If he made a time machine, maybe he's making a time machine because something about he says he believes within 10 years there will be working time machines. So if that's
Uh,
the case, then why wouldn't this be believable? Think about it. That's only 10 years from now. This guy's from 250 years in the future.
I mean, there's a bunch of other people that constantly are like, they have time machines now. They're just not telling you. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, they just show that thing where they send that particle back in time. Like those scientists created a thing where they actually set a particle back in time. Not far, it was like a few seconds, but it's still going back in time.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have no doubt that they have machines now, and it's
Yeah.
like this is the world we live in. We're all like a Republican, a Democrat. Meanwhile, the government's like, we're gonna be rich. We can do whatever we want. Dance, sheep, dance.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a story that, like you're saying, I think, you know, because that means because his quote to that media outlet is basically saying like, I'm staying here. It wasn't like bye. You know what I mean? He just said bye to the world in a way because I mean he didn't publicly say it, but because the government's like, listen, you're not supposed to be like, yeah, we got it because we've been working on this or they already exist. You can't be like doing what you do with the stocks, bro. Like now you work for us, right? Or whatever, whatever, right? So because he in his statement to the media, it was like time is everything. Everything's about time. And this is now my time. Right. So I stay here. So it's like, so he's saying, but like nobody's heard from him again. No media's covering anything. There's no more on a court case with this guy. Right.
Yeah,
It's totally fine that he never existed before like 2022 December, but like he totally exists after. And then they
that's
wiped
probably
him out.
yeah,
Huh?
that's probably his way of telling you like, oh, they have my time machine. I'm not going anywhere. Uh,
They
so
probably cut a deal because everything he said came true too. So it's not like,
yeah,
Also, who else would know how to do all that stock stuff? Like that's crazy. The
well,
most advanced. Oh yeah, then why don't they do it? Because that if they did, this would happen where it would make headlines where it's like, all right, we're arresting this person for insider trading.
well, I guess that's why they don't do it because they probably realize it's like, hey, if we do this, uh, people are gonna realize. I mean, corporations do it all the time. If you see a corporation
Are you
stock
talking about
perform,
insider trading, Tommy?
no, not insider trading. I'm saying
Like
being
nobody's made
accused of it.
$800 turn into $350 million via their own trading, not had one loss in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's singular traders. I'm talking about corporations that put in billions, and that billions
They
turned.
still have losses. It doesn't mean they're not profiting and making a ton over time, but it's never what that happened that just got reported. That's why this is
Yeah,
like made headlines and then it totally vanished. So it's like it's one thing, to be like this person's lying. All right, well then what the hell did he do there?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know? And why
So
was his all his predictions right?
yeah,
That stands true.
that's probably exactly right. He was probably like, "Listen, I'll be very cooperative. You just like, let me live a comfortable life." And they're like, "Sure, sure." And then he did an interview, and then it's like, "All right, buddy, it's to the freaking time traveler's cave for you." And he's just in there with every other time traveler. He's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I doubt they even gave him that much of a chance. I think they're just trying to cooperate with the guy or whatever, but to a certain point, they
Cooperate.
have a job to do, huh?
The government doesn't need to cooperate with anyone. They just
Well,
grab you.
they're not, I don't think they're complete monsters, but they're definitely like have their job to do and they have to stick to it. That's why they're in it.
Sure. For our sake, I'll say sure. You're
Also,
right.
also, How are you that good at insider trading or well, not, that the stocks and everything you predicted came true? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's two things. Even if all of this is a story, back then they predicted the exact date that America's going to Iraq, and they predicted exactly where Osama bin Laden was when they were looking for years and still didn't find him for years. They predicted the exact 2008 market crash, and they knew the cure. Right. So this isn't the government talking, because if it
Is there a
was, they're
cure
ratting
for it?
themselves out.
I didn't realize there was a cure for AIDS. Oh, they have that thing that basically gets knocks it out of your body for the most part. Oh, somebody actually just got cured for AIDS, actually, now that I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it.
recently people are getting cured, but it took until now.
Yeah. Well, why didn't he give us the cure for cancer? I mean, that one's still kicking around.
That is a whole other podcast.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I like these time travels, man. At least this one seems like real because he's doing what most people would do. It's like go back in time and get rich. And then everybody else is like that freaking bald guy we saw when he went back in time. He's like, I live in an egg type situation. We don't have, and it's like, what's when wait, what now I'm drawing a blank. Well, what time was that guy from?
Wasn't it like 2036?
No, he was way further in the future. He was like 300 years in the future or something like that.
Oh,
So he was 100 years past this guy. Okay.
okay. Yeah,
But
because this
wouldn't it?
guy had hair. This guy had hair. It was receding.
All right. And he didn't say anything about the future at all, other than he just talked about the past. Just
Well,
about,
we wouldn't know because think about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
And then I mean, luckily that guy was on a documentary. That's why he said all that. And then he got killed. Yeah, guys, check
Yeah.
out our video on him. It's
No, it's
called
okay.
he did a documentary called like Confessions of a Time Traveler, and we did a video on that. So check it out.
Yeah. I hope this guy wasn't just some schmuck that was like working in a time factory in the future. It's like I'm gonna jump in this time machine, and then comes back. I hope he has more knowledge than just those couple things, so that we could be like, take advantage of it if
Well,
he's
maybe
alive.
he can't mess things up so much. Maybe like him telling those things wouldn't like completely alter things. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like
True.
all he's doing is, yeah, you
Well,
know?
maybe that's where all the Mandela effects are coming from. We're just trugging along, and then all of a sudden, somebody finds out something new with all these time travelers, and
Mm,
something shifts, something shifts, something
hmm
shifts.
hmm
Where it should have been, we split off or something like that.
Yeah. According to Max Laughlin, CERN's responsible for the Mandela effect entirely, and that CERN put us in one timeline. What we were originally in one timeline, it got transferred, and now we're in one of infinite timelines that we're shifting in and out of, which actually makes complete sense, and also Mandela effect sense. Also, I found out today CERN invented the internet.
What? I thought the Navy invented the internet.
CERN did. So
You sure
they're
about
no
that?
joke. They're no joke.
They
I guess
wouldn't
if
have.
anyone's inventing it, it's freaking CERN. Think about
Wait,
it.
I don't understand. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. The Navy invented the internet.
Time
There's
in.
a whole. There's a lot of information on this.
No, that's not what I heard.
I didn't even notice certain wasn't even around.
Not
I don't
true.
know about
All right, guys, let us know in the comments who invented the internet. I found out today CERN did. He's thinking, G.I. Joe, his old info from when he was in the 80s or something. I mean, no.
that. So yeah, when you find out that the Navy invented the internet, could you please,
When you find out that CERN invented the internet, can you please?
yeah, leave a comment on how. Uh,
Contest starts now.
yeah, exactly. Who's the winner, me or Christina? Loser gets punched in the face.
Um, I will not
What?
be
Oh, no,
touching.
you're not so like into your CERN winnings so far now. I will happily take a punch if I'm wrong.
I'm good at not punching people, but we'll figure this out. us
I'm good at punching
coworkers,
people.
we've done many bets, guys. Many bets. Many bets.
Yes. And this is going to be our best bet.
Yeah. Um, God, what was I gonna mention? Guys, we actually already did a video from our viewers, where the viewers gave us some info, asked us about some things, and yeah, we did that video. I don't know, I was gonna bring it up on the next video, sorry up now, because my breakfast is a martini. Okay, anyway, what Tommy.
Well,
Okay, there was something else I was about to say regarding time traveler. Okay, time machine. Like, does he like? My question is this: I understand, like, in the future we might have a time machine or some way to go back, right? But then when
mhm.
we go back, a machine just appears.
It's a time machine. What the? Duh. I
I'm
don't know, man.
confused. I'm confused.
This
Like,
stuff makes sense to me.
you know what I mean? Like, it just appears, and how can they control where it appears? Like, what if it appears in the middle of a highway or a 7-Eleven or a
I'm
Coles?
sure there's a lot involved where they're like, we're gonna track it so that it goes to the exact point when, and we know our history, so there's nothing this in this field at this time, or blah blah blah, this and that. That's why it's like a lot of this doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you know what makes sense to me? If it was the movie Terminator, where they send you back and you're naked because like the time machine exists in the future, and when you get sent back, that's it. There's no going back. You get sent because they have the time machine, they have the technology. You get in, you get sent back, and all that can be sent back is organic material or stuff like that. That stuff kind of stuff makes
But
sense to
then
me.
where do you come from? A portal?
I guess some kind of energy ball or something. I have no idea. But like a freaking like toll booth coming from the future just exists, and it's like you step out. It's like that was my time machine.
They probably like are hiding this in plain sight. It's probably in sharper image, and like none of us realize it. Like, if I walked into sharper image and it was like, oh, this is our latest time machine, and they explained it all, I for some reason I'm just so overwhelmed when I go to sharper image that I'm like, okay, yeah, and no one could afford that either, and that's their time machine. You know what I mean? Like, I would just think it's normal.
Yeah, unless time machines are not what we think, we're thinking like vehicles. What if they're
I'm
like in
not thinking
Harry?
vehicles. I'm thinking a booth. But go ahead.
That's still technically a vehicle. Like what if it's like Harry Potter? Oh, you don't know Harry Potter, but Harry Potter, there's like if you grab a certain thing, it's linked between two places, and if you grab it, it will bring you to that other place. But that's kind of like the same thing with time machines. It's linked to the future, and if you're like, oh, I'm back in 2355.
That's amazing. Maybe that's what
Run.
happened with this guy. Maybe that's what happened. That makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is, and it's like something we can't fathom at the moment.
So maybe nobody bailed him out. Maybe he just did that and they can't say anything because they're like, well, how do we explain this? And they really kind of have no control over him because he keeps having his little thingy.
Mm,
And they don't know, like, they don't know he has it to take it away. And that's why he didn't explain where it was.
yeah. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's cool. But it's like someone had to have planted that thing in that year as well, right?
No, it would. This is a theory, people. Don't
Mhm.
freaking eat me alive. I'm just saying.
Eat them
What
alive.
if? Yeah. What if something? What if it's like that, where it's linked to the some part in the future, and all you gotta do is just grab onto it, and it just pulls you back. I don't know. I am not a
Oh, I
scientist.
see. It was linked to the original place. But
Yes,
in order to squeeze it and you get linked to the place B, it has to be in place B.
sure. I don't know. This is a theory. I'm
There's
probably
something
wrong.
else.
Watch it. It turns out actually to be a vehicle. It's like it looks like you know how kids when you're like a kid you make a cardboard box type like spaceship or anything. Watch is literally that.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll get to that in a second. But you want to hear something funny? This
Hmm.
morning when I was walking Muffin, I got her back in, and there was this guy that had this machine in the lobby, and I'm just so used to like covering this stuff that I literally thought like, and I was so tired and I was trying to like get in the mode for the podcast. So like I was just so I was like, is that a time machine? Like that's what I thought in my head. I thought, is that a time machine? It turned out it's a telescope, but it was so big that I really thought it was a time machine. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, I actually have a podcast on aliens and UFOs, and he didn't flinch. And now I'm like, I love looking at the stars. And he's like, I'm downsizing this one. No, he said I'm selling this one to get a smaller one. I have a smaller one now. And then I was like, yeah, you're downsizing. Yeah, everybody's got to do that. Yeah. And I like walked away or whatever. But now I'm thinking like he might not even use that for the stars.
What?
Like he could have been like a stalker or something, a sniper.
Maybe not a sniper. Who needs a telescope for sniper? Well, I don't know.
But also like
Sure.
my point was I just like immediately was like time travel. And then I'm like, how is that my norm?
I mean, it's literally what we talk about all the time.
I know, but it's so sad that like
Yes.
that's what happens. Like
Mm,
I'm like that's where
everyone else.
it was
Yeah,
as
yeah,
normal to me as saying like, is that like a microwave?
yeah. Everybody else doesn't want to talk. Like people don't want to talk about things. They're like, "Oh, you're just a fool." So, um, yeah, I've tried talking to people about like stuff like this, and they're like, "Oh, right, yeah, yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah, that's okay, okay, all right." And so it's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna bother unless they show a spark of wanting to talk about it. I don't bring it up.
I know. I feel like all my girlfriends are interested in talking to me until I bring up some mind expansive, like, you ever gonna believe what I found out about alternate realities? And then they're like, oh, you know what? I have another call.
Yeah, but I've been around you when like your subject change ability is terrible. Terrible. They're like, have you have you heard about Rosie? Oh man, what a shame. What a shame. You know, in the future, they, they fixed that and then they make like a mirror where you can talk to the people of the dead and all that stuff. So she's
I'm
not
giving
really
them
dead.
hope. What?
So she's not really dead.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they're
giving
like,
them hope. Why would you even need a segue?
because you do it in such bad timing. Like her mother is probably just holding her body, looking up at you like,
It's never too soon for hope. I don't think. I don't know. My intentions are good. I thought, you know what? I'll risk looking crazy for the sake of the soul seeing any relief.
your intentions are good, but your timing is terrible.
Hmm,
Terrible.
you don't know.
Yes, I've seen it. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, so was yours.
My timing's fine because I keep quiet. There's no timing necessary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Guys, if you ever go on a date with this guy, it's so fun. It's just quiet the whole time. And he's like, your shirt's ugly.
Yeah, I'm
I
very
hate
judgy. Yeah, I'm extraordinarily judgy, ladies.
you. It's so fun. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to catch up next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep existing for you. If you get anything out of us at all, clearly we are in a lot of pain. If anybody wants to donate, that'd be great.
Yeah, life hurts.
and uh and yeah, seriously, you guys mean the world to us. All of you, each and every one of you, we are so grateful. That's why we did this other episode on from our viewers, which we have to do a second one because even more has come in since, but just so much content. um anyway, guys, love you all, and comment below, and I love hearing from you. And anything you want to add about this whole thing, Kami?
Um, I hope that this guy gave enough good information and like wasn't just some schmuck that came back in time and was like, I stole a time machine and came back. Because I could see that happening a lot more easily than people just like from the future coming back and getting caught. You know what I mean?
Wait, you hope what? I dazed
That he
out.
had some knowledge, like other than the regular stuff, but real knowledge. Because you would think that people that are trained, let's say, to come back in time, know better than to be like, I'm gonna make myself millions immediately.
So you're
They're not,
hoping he had knowledge?
yeah, like actual knowledge, like stuff that can be used. Like, yeah,
He
great,
he
they
told
found
us.
Bin Laden. Yeah, great, they knew when we were going to war.
Well, what's the difference? We're not going to know if he told them anything. We don't know.
Oh, that's true. What am I even saying? Yeah, you're right.
Uh,
You're right. You're right.
Okay, so guys, um, yeah, because who knows? Maybe he's the one that brought the cure for the AIDS. I don't know.
I doubt that. Well, maybe it's in his blood. Maybe it's like a vaccine over there, and that's how they got it.
But you know what? My thing is cure. Like, oh, I know the cure. Like, if I was from a time that knew the cure of that, right? And I went back in time, I still wouldn't know the cure. I would know that there is one,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't know how to be like this chemical with this chemical and this, unless it's like garlic or like, something we know. Like, how do you even say it?
Well,
Like, like like
that's
if
what
we
I'm
went
saying.
back in time about the COVID thing and say all whatever aside, say there was a cure for COVID, right? And it was in that vaccine or a shot or something, and hold the comments because trust me, I'm with you. But the point is that say there was a cure or that vaccine was a cure, right? It's like how do I even articulate I know the cure? What am I gonna do? Where is it? I know, I mean, you know that there is one. You know that there's one coming up, but what are you handing over as the cure? Unless it's like ketchup, you know what I mean? Like unless it's something and that's existing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it was like a vaccine in the future where it's in his blood and they could extract his blood and figure it out, maybe that's what you meant.
Yeah, yeah. All
Unless
right,
the guy
guys.
actually is a genius who came back in time and is like, I'm going crazy with money. So, yeah, that's what I think. I think that if he had the cure for it, it was simply in his time, it's simply like a vaccine as if it was for measles or anything like that, where you get it when you're young.
And that's amazing, guys. The Zoom police are now calling us. We have less than a minute. It's about to kick us off. Um, but
They're aggressive.
they're aggressive. They're we need three initials for them, just like the FBI. All right.
Sure.
All right, guys. All right, we're about to get kicked off. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.